To the class of 2025. When you finish a book, do you remember the beginning or the ending more? More likely than not, the most memorable things are found in the middle. In my martial arts class, there is a saying that the end is not the end, just a new beginning. I find that this concept is very applicable here. While we are at the end in many ways, we are in just as many at a new beginning. Friends, grasshoppers, this is the Formless Podcast, episode number 100. With Tyler, the superhuman, and me, Dustin.
Episode 100. Here we are.
Finally. Woo!
We made it. Triple digits.
Yeah. Huge. Like, we started this journey in 2021, at the end of 2021. And to think that it would go this long, I didn't think that we were incapable of it. I just didn't know that we would have that tenacity.
Yeah.
To keep going when everything else gets in the way. There's always a hiccup. There's always some unforeseen circumstance that you just don't prepare for. And usually that's when, that's the roadblock that, okay, it's time to pull up stakes and switch directions. I wouldn't have thought that this would have been something that I was capable of 4 or 5 years ago.
To get to episode 100, or to have a podcast, or both, everything in between?
Just to keep going. Because there have been times when things have gotten very difficult to explain to others, family members. You just well, you did that last Saturday. Do you need to do it again this Saturday? That kind of thing. So it's very much a sacrifice in some ways, where you're just okay, well, this is what we're doing. This is what we've been doing for the last 100 Saturdays. No, son, you stay right there. I've got we have a little helper today who's watching the live chat. We've actually are live streaming this on YouTube, as well as recording it for later release. So a new experience for us.
I want to move over there, so I'm
no,
trying to look at
you
the
can
chat.
just.
You won't see my face.
No, you don't get to see your face. I can see your face.
No, so when I look at the chat, my face.
It's okay. We already discussed that. Don't worry about it. You'll have to put his face in there a couple of times just for giggles.
Yeah.
In the live video or in the anywho, so we thought today. First of all, congratulations on being here this far with me and sticking it out.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Yeah, pat ourselves on the back. That's awesome. What news do you have? Because I'm sure you've got a couple of new things that are in your life that have happened recently.
Yeah, so it kind of coincides with episode 100,
yeah.
But we got Miracle Mile is now streaming online on Amazon, and so you can go on Amazon and search for Miracle Mile. And search Miracle Mile 2024. There's an older Miracle Mile from 1988 or 89. Not that one.
That was the first one I found when I searched.
Yeah, it's not that one. So look for the one with the van and the three guys on the cover. And so it just came out on Amazon. You can rent it, you can buy it digitally, and you can buy the DVD. And there's over 2 hours of extra features on the DVD. And so that got released. We're hitting our social media campaign advertising, just so crazy, just doing so much advertising, and just really getting the word out there, doing a lot of local advertising on the radio.
Sorry, on the news.
On the news, yeah. So So yeah, that's been a big milestone that the movie's out on Amazon. Anybody in the world can watch it now on Amazon. And it's kind of scary, in a way. Or not, I shouldn't say scary. Scary is not the right word. It's exciting, and
a little nerve-wracking.
It's out there, and it's for people to make comments and critiques on, and also positive stuff. And I can only imagine what it's like. I mean, you're an artist, and so you used to play guitar, and so like an artist like puts together an album, puts it out there, and it's like you're putting kind of your
and in my
heart and soul out there.
In my experience, because I've been in front of people and done live events and things like that, and it invites a few different types of people. Like there's the person that'll come up to you and is like, "Hey, good job." They'll comment and try and be positive, no matter what. There's that type of person, right? Mm-hmm. You can suck, and they'll be like, "Hey, you know what? You look really confident up there. You did a good job," or whatever. They'll find something, which is cool. Kudos to those people. And then there's the person that no matter how well you did or didn't do, they're gonna find something to critique on.
Yep.
Like, Tyler, you did really good. Your hair could have been parted. It's just something stupid, right? And then and then you got those category of just haters. No matter what you do, somebody's gonna crap on you. Mm-hmm. And take that as it comes, just like whatever. But that's my personal experience with being up in front of people and doing things like that. But
it comes with the territory.
It comes with the territory, and you just have to remind yourself that a lot of people want to do this, and I'm blessed to be able to do this, and I have the wherewithal and the tenacity to do this.
Yeah.
Despite what people say, despite what others are going to say, whether they love it or hate it, But dude, I'm insanely proud of you. That was an accomplishment. I mean, the amount of effort and work and sacrifice and keep going, that took was huge.
Huge. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. It's rad. It's really, really, really exciting.
Yeah. So it's really exciting, and hoping the movie is successful enough that we can raise money and do
a second one or
do more movies.
Another movie, yeah,
and keep the Mighty Men of Valor Studios going. And I just think it's really cool. So everyone out there, go on Amazon and go watch Miracle Mile 2024 on Amazon.
Yeah, I shared a link on our social media, and I'll definitely put another link for it in these show notes. So I'll definitely be out there. Look for the link.
It's just so fitting that, for me at least, we reached episode 100 on the podcast, and then the film came out. Realistically, it came out about 2.5 weeks ago or something like that.
Yeah.
We haven't really announced it on the podcast.
No, but we've been talking about it for it's kind of built up in a way. We've been talking about it because there were times where next week I got a film, or this week we're working on this deal, or and there's always a little something in the middle there that was really quite exciting. But it's cool. It's in a way, it's like the closing of a chapter.
Yes.
We talked about it. It was, you had finished writing it when we started, right?
Oh, yeah.
Looking for, can you just give me 30 seconds to finish the thought? Okay, thank you. So when we started recording, you had just finished writing the movie, right? You hadn't started principal photography or any of that yet.
Yeah, we had, I think because we started the podcast in 2021, I think shortly after we started the podcast, or right about then, we had filmed the short film.
Okay.
As our proof of concept to try to raise money to then do the bigger film on the bigger level. And so it was about then, but yeah, we hadn't really started filming the actual full feature film. Normally, you raise money and then you start filming the whole film and you film it all the way through. This was very much piecemealed together over a couple of years, and not that wasn't our first choice, but that's how we had to get it made.
But by hook or by crook, it got done.
Yeah.
What's up, son?
Sorry to interrupt, but we got our first watcher on.
Okay. Do we have a comment?
No.
Okay. What was your job again? What was your job again? Explain to me.
I was just saying thank you for our first one.
Okay. Awesome. Very exciting. Thomas, what was your job? Okay. Thank you, bud. Appreciate it. All right. So, lost my train of thought.
The podcast.
The podcast, yeah, 100, and then the movie, it all kind of came together very similar.
Yeah.
Like same timeline, almost.
Yeah.
Or very close to each other.
Very close. And I never had. You were always into podcasts and listening to Jocko and all those other podcasts that you listen to, and you're still into that.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that was something that was never really a goal of mine, was to do a podcast.
In reality, it wasn't really mine.
No, but you had a dream.
I did.
You were like, I want to do a podcast. That'd be fun.
Yeah. And that was more of I got excited about talking about ideas, and then the vomit that just came out was like, we could make a movie or podcast, and then that was the hook, and then it was like, oh, okay, well, mouth. Now you've said this, so like it's time to make something happen. So that was it's exciting.
That was exciting, and then here we are in episode 100.
So yeah, and then learned quite a bit. Learned a lot of what not to do. Learned a lot about what we should have done. Learned quite a few things. What are some of the things that stuck with you about doing this?
I really want to word this the right way. It's when you start out on the path to a destination, right? And life's a journey. It's the journey, not the just destination. But you've got a goal, right? You're saying, I'm going to walk from here to there. I'm going to do this. I have found it out to be true for myself that I look back and I am glad we made the decision to do this podcast versus somebody who, if we had in 21 talked about the podcast and said, okay, yeah, well, we sit down and we talk about the podcast, and then we made the decision, well, now is not the right time. Let's talk about it over
6 months.
Yeah.
And figure out the schedule.
And we'll plan it out, and you want to make it perfect, right? You're like, okay. And then 6 months turns into a year, and then it's like, oh yeah, what are we gonna do with that? And then it's kind of, then it just falls more by the wayside. And I think if we were sitting out there on the mats training now and talking about, man, remember like 4 years ago,
remember when we were talking about
the podcast, that the pain of regret is, what's that quote? The pain of regret is worse than the pain of failure, or something like that. I don't want to butcher that quote, but
I agree.
I can't imagine what it would be like to be 4 years later and we hadn't done this. That, what a waste of time that would have been to not do it. Versus like just pulling that trigger, saying, okay, it's not going to be perfect. We don't got a whole perfect plan for episode 1. But let's just start doing it.
Yeah.
And that is like you said, do the work, right? You've always
Yeah.
said, like, just do the work, get it done. And here we are. And like zero regrets on this. Like,
absolutely. And like, have we made mistakes? Have we done things that we're like, oh, shouldn't have said that?
Absolutely.
Or shouldn't have done it this way? But like, you almost don't know that. You don't learn that until you get in the midst of it. You know, I mean, unless you have a budget to where you can hire out like editors or like principal photography, or you know, those kinds of things, like a movie, right?
Yeah.
Like how many mistakes did you guys make on your journey making that film, where you're like, oh, that was a thing I didn't even know. Like, same thing here. We did a bunch of stuff like that where we're like, I don't know how to do that. I don't either. Well, okay, let's figure it out. We'll go blindly into this. And
like for you and me, like, I don't think I've ever been on a podcast before this. Like, I've never.
No.
I don't. You have.
I'd listened to a bunch of them, and I wasn't even aware of the fact that there were independent podcasts, for lack of a better term. I always just assumed that they had some sort of a studio or money or production company backing, or they just had a lot of money. Like Joe Rogan has a lot of money, and he's got even more now that he's got his Spotify deal. I just figured he was paying for all of this out of his own pocket, which I know he like flies the guests in and all of that sort of thing and puts them up. But I was just like, I didn't realize that basically anybody can do this. And now that I've like done it, and we've done this together and figured it out, and you know, it's like, oh yeah, anybody can do that. It's very cool. Thank you, Tom. It takes it does take a lot of work though. It's not simple to just like to do. Like it does take some effort and some forethought and some planning, but like it has been an amazing experience.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. So I think that I mean, I just can't imagine.
I understand. Leave the door open though, or just let it squeak to shut. That's awesome. You can't imagine. Sorry.
No, I just can't imagine not starting. And I mean, just like the last 4 years of doing the movie and doing the podcast, and just like has really taught me just like, man, and now that I'm going to be 40 this year, you know, like, and I'm like, oh man, like, and you really got to just kind of do the things you want. Like, and obviously, I mean, you know, obviously there's a lot of factors to take in, but you just, those passions you want to do and those risks you want to do, like, you got to take them. You just got to do them.
Well,
like,
exactly.
Cannonball into the pool. Don't tiptoe in.
You know, it's so funny. Right now,
as long as you know it's deep enough to cannonball.
Exactly.
It's safe, right? Okay,
but Brian and I were just talking about that last night. We were talking about we were talking about just life, school, everything that's been going on these last few years. And I'm like, she was telling me that like there were some things that she was stressed about or worried about, or like, this is concerning me and stuff. And I'm like, well, it's too late. We've already jumped out of the plane.
Right, yeah.
Like, that's what you need. Like, if you thought I was talking about it like in a fatalistic kind of analogy, and I'm like, no, we're like skydiving.
Yeah.
We jumped out of the plane. Once you jump out of the plane, you can't go, oh, you know what? I need to get back on the plane and like recalibrate my phone or whatever. You know, it's like, it's too late. You've already jumped up from the plane. Only thing you can do now is free fall and hope your chute opens. And now that we've jumped from the plane, comedic effect. We just talked about this too. The sounds.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tom. But Yeah, once you've jumped from the plane,
Oh,
you can't.
we got a comment. Sensei Joe says, "Hey fellas."
Oh, thank you, hey, Sensei Joe.
Hey, Sensei Joe.
Appreciate it. But we've already jumped from
Sensei
the plane.
Joe Llewellyn.
We jumped from the plane. We're falling. We can freak out about falling, or we can enjoy the view and pull the chute when it's time. And that's what we got to do. Once we've, like she was talking about through school, like once you signed your name to that line, it's a done deal. Once you signed up for the Army, you couldn't go back and be like, oh, on second thought, I really want to not do this.
Yeah.
It's like, too late, dude. You put your name down. You're going. Awesome. So yeah, that was kind of interesting.
Same thing.
Yeah, same exact thing. What? Okay, well, just perfect. Thank you, Tom.
Can we just bring the toilet in here?
Jesus.
We'll get a portable one and just set it up right over there.
Yeah.
No, but and I think what's really cool is first off, I want to hear if anybody emails in or comments, what is something that you guys want to do? What do you want to jump in and start doing? Is it start taking, is it?
That's awesome to encourage others to go for it.
Is it, are you gonna start learning a different language? Are you gonna start playing an instrument? Are you gonna take that vacation you want to do? Are you gonna start your little business you want to do? Like, I'm just curious, like what everyone else is gonna do to really to go after what you want, because like we're only all getting older and the world isn't getting any better.
Well, you got one ticket on this ride. I mean, I've said that before, but like we all do. Our tickets all been punched, and at the end of this, we're all dead. So
no one gets out alive.
No one gets out alive. Yeah. So we might as well get after it and get on to something that you want to do. We have.
There's gremlins in the system.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
We got another comment. You guys are already on a roll. I don't want to.
Oh well, thanks.
What's the comment?
Hello there. It says.
Is that Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Yeah. It says Chad TJ Sensei Joe Llewellyn son.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate it, son. That's perfect. Thank you.
And I think what's really cool is, like I was saying, just like. Maybe some of you out there, you don't have something that you don't have something decided yet that you want to do, but maybe you jump on someone else's goal. Like Dustin was like, I want to do this podcast, and I no interest in having a podcast.
And you hadn't even listened to a podcast?
I had.
Okay.
I think I had. Yeah, listened to a couple.
Okay.
Probably. But it was just not like a dream of mine, and then. It was just cool to like, you're like, hey, let's do one. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. But you take the lead. I'll be the pressure behind both of us that's saying like, hey, let's do this. Let's do this.
Which was perfect. Like that role for you, for this whole thing, was the perfect kick in the pants that I needed.
We got a comment from Randall Davis, Red Forest Chinese Boxing. Howdy, crew.
Hey,
how's it going?
Yeah, that's the Kung Fu Conversation boys out in Colorado.
Hey guys.
Hey, Randall. Yeah. So that, like, I don't know now that I've done it. I have the knowledge and the foresight to like keep going. But had I not had a partner like you for that to go, oh, we can do this, or like, come on, keep trying, don't give up yet, just like I got my black belt because I had a partner like you.
Yeah.
Who happened to be you, who can,
pressure.
And kick me in the butt and go, okay, one more time. All right, now we're going to do it left-handed. Now we're going to do it backwards. Now you're going to do it with your eyes closed. Now,
Yeah.
And that made the difference for me there, was having that happen. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So
does anybody in the comments have anything that they want to say, what they want to do? Like, what do they want to start? Do what's your next thing you want to start doing? Because we're at this milestone now with 100 episodes.
Yeah. Well, what's your next thing?
My next thing? Oh gosh. One of my next things, I've got something big in the works for my own personal life, and I'll announce it on the next podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, when it's already done and signed deal.
When the deal is done.
Yeah,
don't count those chickens.
Yeah, but I got that. I'm really pushing right now since I've got momentum with the movie. The movie came out. I'm really pushing on finding more scripts that are already written, both movie scripts and scripts about like a show, a narrative show, and really going to be pushing to get some more of those funded and made.
Right on.
Yeah, and so that's my goal.
Cool. I noticed Corey, one of our previous guests.
Yeah, Corey DeSilva.
Yeah, he's got quite a few stories getting popular there.
He wrote a short story on Reddit and published it, and he got some incredible amount of views. And yeah he's really getting a following.
And they're pretty good. I read a couple of them. Wow, this is good.
You read the one about I think it was the cat?
No, I didn't read that one yet. The one I read, oh gosh, it's gone.
It's Corey DeSilva, Cory, and then DE, and then Silva. So his last name is DeSilva. 2 words, DeSilva.
He's on podcasts like 89 or 90, I think.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. And he's one of the writers on Miracle Mile, and he plays the role of Hunter in Miracle Mile, so the hippie hitchhiker. And he's great, fantastic, and but yeah, he wrote those stories, and so he's really putting himself out there and just starting to write stuff.
Really cool. Really cool.
What's your next?
So it's funny that you say that, because I just want to keep going. I'm like with everything. I just want to keep going and keep putting one foot in front of the other. I don't have any. My personal big goal is to get my wife through school.
Yeah.
Whether I have to kick her in the pants or push her or have her drag me along, however life dictates that happening, that's the goal. Get her through school, make her happy with that.
And that's important, because even if somebody, like, you've got many of your goals that you want to do, but one thing that we can function as to our friends and family is that pressure behind someone that encourages them and says, hey, honey, hey, wife, hey, husband,
hey, friend,
hey, brother, hey, sister, hey, aunt, hey, uncle, hey, grandma, grandpa, do this. Like, and encourage them. And every time you see them next time, like you see them every week or every month, hey, what about that thing that you talked about doing?
Yeah, for sure.
Where are you at on that?
For sure. You know, it's funny because I wrote down a list of things that I'd like learned or really expanded upon in my life prior to recording this, and we've gone over 3 of them just naturally. Yeah. So that's interesting. One of the things that I kind of naively believed, that if something was supposed to happen, that it would just happen and it wouldn't be a struggle. As a kid, you know, you just think like, oh, it's just easy, it just happens because that's what the way it's supposed to work or whatever, right? And I would get to the point where, like, if something got hard or or if I was struggling with something, it would be that much easier to just quit, you know, or Thank you, son. Go ahead. Read the comment.
Joel says, now that I have earned my 2nd level down internies, I want to keep up the momentum and
Try to earn that 2nd black before I turn 60.
Right on. That's a
great goal.
Very valiant goal.
In case anyone didn't hear Tom, because he's not next to the mic, Sensei Joe Llewellyn says he wants to get his black belt in our niece
before 60.
Before 60. Is that what it says?
Yeah.
Okay. I can't quite see it.
Yeah.
Is that what it says?
Yeah.
Okay. I can't quite see it.
Yeah. It's a little. It's a little small writing for my 45-year-old.
That's why
That's
I'm here.
great,
That's
Joe.
why I'm here.
Yeah, congratulations. But can I go back to what I was saying there, Tom?
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. So, as I was saying, is like what I've learned over this is it's like it's okay to complain. It's okay to like kick the dirt and cry and be frustrated about things as long as you keep going.
Yeah, because that's part of the process.
Yeah, and like, not that complaining is okay, because I really have been working on not complaining in my life, personally, because I'm a great complainer in life. But it's okay. Just keep going. As long you can do all of that other stuff, just keep moving. As long as you make that progress, like keep going.
Keep going.
And that's one of the big things I think I've learned about all of this is just keep going. Kick, cry, complain, scream, yell at whatever you got to yell at, but keep going.
Because if you don't, you're going to get stagnant. It's like a body of water that stops moving. You get stagnant, attracts mosquitoes,
All sorts of
moss and nasty stuff inside of the critters. Keep going. And as a matter of fact, I like what you said at one point, how, soon you're going to, hopefully next episode, you're going to bring your guitar on the podcast.
Okay. All right. Next one. It's a deal.
Next one, episode 101, Sensei Dustin.
Play a little guitar.
Yeah.
So we'll do that.
I've never seen you play guitar.
I have, but rarely.
Rarely?
Rare.
Okay. Done deal. You got it. Get everyone off my back. It's terrible. It'll sound terrible. And you'll never ask again. So
Yeah, but that's the dragon of fools. You got to get past that.
Yeah.
That dragon of fools.
Yeah. No problem.
You're a humble warrior, right?
There we go.
That's the warrior.
Um,
I'm kind of like,
yeah.
be the warrior that just pushes past that. Says, I don't care about looking like a fool.
Oh no, I don't mind about. I'm not worried about looking like a fool. Don't worry about that. I can do that just fine. I don't need that department. No. So what else you got? What else have you learned?
Okay. I have learned over 100 episodes of doing this podcast. I mean, if we're talking doing the podcast, but also
Just
in
in
life.
life. Just in life.
I have learned that just the repetition of doing something over and over and over and over and over and over on and on and on
100 times
gives you a certain level of confidence that you just can't get from anywhere else. Like when we did our black belt test, my attitude was like, let's get this done with. I know I'm going to pass. Like I wasn't nervous. I was like, let's get this over. Some people are like, the day is coming. It's a week until my test. And I was like, can we get into the DeLorean and like jump ahead to that day? Like let's get that done. Because I had done it so many times. I was just like, there.
put all the work in.
I had put it just gets into you genetically to the atomic level, the atom level, whatever, the cellular level. When you do something so much that you just know that you you've got it. And like it just changes you. And when you do that and like you've showed up, you've done the work over and over and over, it will affect you, your performance. It will affect your performance, and in just a way that you can't get anywhere else.
It's almost like you got to get out of your own way. Like if you do, you know what I mean? Like you do all the and then it's like, somebody put it to me at one point, you should work so hard at it. You should work so hard at whatever, something, that when it comes time to do the thing, that it's like it's just a formality at that point. Like overtrain, overwork to the point where it's just like it's like a Tuesday, right? It's just like every other day, right? You do so much prep work that there's no stress anymore. The only stress is like making sure there's no traffic. Nothing else is going to hold you up on your way to. No, that's really cool. I like that.
And doing 100 episodes of the podcast, or whatever anybody chooses to do, you do 100 lessons on piano or 100 lessons on your language. You're just eventually just going to know, we put in the work here, and you're just going to know it on another level that and it works on the subconscious to where you're not even in conflict with yourself anymore. That makes sense.
Well,
can I do this or can't I do this? It's like, no, I can do this. I don't even have to tell myself that.
Yeah. Well, I used to, when we first started doing this, I was always trying to plan something out and almost not necessarily script things out, but just have an itinerary. Okay, we're gonna talk about this, and then we're gonna talk about this, and then it doesn't always go to flow like that, and it's not very natural. At least I don't feel that way. Some people, there are plenty of podcasts that have scripted episodes or scripted things, and those are fine. I actually enjoy quite a few of those and listen to them. But I think where we come into, I think our best episodes are where we're I don't have anything planned. And then we just sit down and hit record and start talking, because it's almost like a sparring match. Where, do you want to work on anything? No, let's just spar. Okay. And we just roll with it and go and adapt and change. And the tempo changes and the speed changes and the intensity changes. And we get going and we build this huge crescendo, and then it comes down. And we're oh man, we're having a conversation and throwing punches and kicks at each other. Yeah. And then the intensity, something happens and the intensity comes back up, and that's kind of the way we've done it here. We've had planned ones. We've had guests. We've had a concept that we're going to talk about and delve into. And I love all of those, and each and every one of those it's like asking me what my favorite child is. I don't have a favorite child. All three of them are pretty dang cool in my book, right? Our podcasts are the same way. If I had to pick a favorite one, I couldn't. They're all important to me, because I either learned something about myself, about others, or I figured out something. They all have something very, very important to me about it, and it's really, really cool.
Yeah. And like you said, that you used to have a script.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can ever go wrong with having a script. You have to have a blueprint. You build a building, you have to have a blueprint.
Yeah.
You can modify it. You can go off that plan, but you have to have something. But that's what I was getting at with the 100 episodes, is that now, or whatever you're doing in your life, that now you've done at some point. I don't think we sat down and said, okay, Dustin, we're at episode 57. I think we've got this down. We don't need a script. It just happened.
Yeah,
there was a transition that we weren't looking for. We probably didn't even notice in the moment. And it just transitioned, not out of random chance, but because we had did it, that it just was a transformation you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah.
And it was unconscious, not planned, and we didn't notice it. But now you look back at some point. At some point that happened.
Yeah.
But not random.
No, not random. We're not planned either, though. Not I don't think it was a conscious.
No.
Yeah. So, okay, I got a couple other things. I was just reading some other things I wrote here. have three more things.
See, now we're back on script.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it works. It works.
Three more things. Attitude is everything. That is one of my favorite concepts. Thank you for pulling that away. I tried to fix that once before and it didn't work. The attitude, having a good attitude will get you further than in a lot of ways. It'll get you down the road when everything else has gone to crap. Just having a good attitude about stuff. That's one thing that I've learned doing this, because there's lots of things to get bummed out about. And if you let it bum you out, it will totally bum you out. Just like martial arts, right? You start training, trying to learn a new concept or a new technique or something you just don't get. And if you struggle and you allow yourself to get down about it, it will make it that much harder.
Yep.
But if you try and keep a good attitude about it, you'll get through that struggle that much quicker. Right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, totally. I think that I definitely think those struggles of having like a bad attitude, they're necessary.
Yeah.
They're necessary because you won't develop as if you don't go through something, you can't turn around and look at it and learn from it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so but yeah.
But you gotta come back. You can't stay there.
No.
You got to get through that. You got to have a good attitude. In the event, eventually, you got to come back to that good attitude, that good attempt. Like, okay, we're going to do this again. It's going to suck, but I don't care. I'm having fun. We're going to do it again. You know, smile. That's one of the big things I think I've learned, or I'm still learning to a certain extent.
That's a good one. Attitude's really good because that applies to everything.
Yeah.
To school, to training something, to life, to work.
Yeah.
I mean, I would rather work with. In spring of 2008, I took a directing class at Shasta College. It was directing for theater, so theater art,
which is different than film.
Different than film. A lot of similarities, but it's distinctly different in my opinion. And the teacher of the class at the time, his name is Robert Safian.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah, and so he told us one day in directing class, he said, when it comes to working with actors, he's like, I'd rather work with a mediocre actor who's got a great attitude versus a really fantastic actor who's got a diva attitude. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I never forgot that. And I have found that out to be true. Because if somebody's got a great attitude and they're mediocre on something, they can get better. But an attitude, oh man, that's to me, that's a lot more work. Oh, and that's only if they want to change it themselves. I can't change someone else's attitude.
Yeah.
And so, I totally agree with that.
I like that. That's cool. Yeah. Good thing you agree. I'm glad you agree.
Totally.
Dichotomy and everything.
Dichotomy. What's dichotomy mean again?
It's like opposite.
Opposite. Okay.
Yeah. If I say black is the best color, there's no other color that's better than this. Well, that's too rigid, too no, that's not a good definition of dichotomy. Hold on, let me think of something. That was just the first thing I looked at. Dichotomy. The opposite, right? If I say punching is the only way to win a fight, it's not. No, there's not. There's another way. There's always another option. There's always something else. You know, there's a dichotomy there. There's a
second.
There's a second opinion. There's another opinion. There's another option. Don't get so rigid, right? Don't get so. Jocko wrote Extreme Ownership, right? So he gets comments a lot. Like he always says, like, don't eat donuts, right? Or don't eat cake. Don't stay away from sugar. He was at a birthday party. He's eating a piece of cake. And somebody's grandma comes up to him and is like, aren't you the extreme ownership guy? Aren't you supposed to be not eating that cake? And he's like, well, I worked out this morning. I did all of this. I'm eating healthy. Normally, I eat pretty healthy. And today we're celebrating, so-and-so's birthday. So I'm having a slice of cake. I'm not going to eat the entire cake. I'm just going to have a slice of cake. Is that okay with you? So I don't know if that's the exact conversation. It probably varied quite a bit. But like, there's the dichotomy. Yeah, hold ourselves to a high standard. But realize we're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to eat cake once in a while. Mm-hmm. I brought a whole bunch of ice cream home from work yesterday. A whole bunch. I ain't going to eat all of it tonight. I'm going to have a bowl tonight. I'm going to have a bowl of ice cream tonight.
It's got to live life.
That's the dichotomy.
That's the dichotomy. Okay.
Yeah, don't be so rigid that you can't see the forest for the trees.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and that lesson really came to me a couple of different times over the years, doing podcasts with remote guests, and not working. Like the connection's not working, the internet connection's not working. I can't hear them, they can't hear us, whatever, and just okay, well, we got them here. We got them on schedule. They're there. We can see them. Let's just keep hitting buttons until we figure out how to make this work. And that's one of those things. It's like we're 9/10 of the way there. The goal line's right here. Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Give it one more shot. Give it another try. That's another thing.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Dichotomy. Yeah.
I had to give 2 bad examples apparently before I could give a good one. Well, anyway,
that's good.
Yeah.
What else is on your list?
I have one more thing, but I don't know how it ties in right now. But playing the long game versus playing the short game.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I can talk about that one.
Yeah, that's. I just we kind of were on a roll. And I didn't know how to tie that one in, but I think it's an important idea. Go for it. If you have an idea.
I have an example of a guest that's been on the podcast. So Sensei Joe Llewellyn.
Yeah.
He played the long game in the National Guard, and he just retired. I believe it was at 37 years. And he played the long game, and he retired as a higher rank than a lot of the guys that were around him because he played the long game. Mm-hmm. And some of those guys may or may not have had other advantages, but I would see Sensei Joe, and he retired as an E8 in the Army. And I don't know the exact specifics. I think he retired as a master sergeant or a first sergeant. It was one of those, but an E8 is the same pay grade.
Yeah.
And so I should know this. Sorry, Joe. My apologies. But he played the long game and retired at a higher rank than a lot of the other people that he was in just because he played the long game and
stuck it out.
Had
that forethought to look at the end goal.
Yeah. And in the Army, there's for enlisted ranks, that's what the E stands for, like E8, he's enlisted 8. And there was only literally one more rank he could achieve, and that's E9. And then that's you're either a sergeant major or a command sergeant major. And so he literally got one level below maxing out, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So he could only go up to E9 would be the max he could do. And he had chained E8. And so that was playing the long game. And I think that is pretty cool.
That is not always easy to do either. There's a lot of things, especially over that period of time. Lots of things could happen. All sorts of different things could happen there. And I think also though that there's a time to play the short game.
Absolutely.
And there's a time to play the long game.
Absolutely.
You have to be able to identify, and I think that's the special talent, is identifying which is which, and what game are you playing versus what game is being played.
Absolutely, yeah. Like you buy stocks, right? You might stock, are you just going to buy a stock one day and flip it tomorrow? That's playing the short game.
Well, if you're in Congress, you do that all the time.
Right. Or are you going to buy a stock and hold it for 40 years?
Yeah.
And then wait, you bought it at $1 and now it's at $4,000. That's playing the long game, right? Or whatever.
Or you have time to one of the two.
Yeah.
But no, I mean the app, you play the law of averages. That you hope you buy the stock when it's low, and then you hope that every year it just gains that average. Well, but yeah, that's definitely playing the long game.
That's the dichotomy.
Yeah. Yes.
The dichotomy of short game versus long game.
Nice. Good time.
Yeah.
Right on. So that's my list. Those are some of the things that I've learned. Some things you've learned. It looks like.
Oh yeah. But I have no regrets in saying I think the pain of regret would have just been worse than the pain of not trying.
Absolutely.
Of doing it. And I sure have learned a lot in the last 100 episodes. I mean, we have people on that have been guests that you're just like, whoa, like I would have never even thought of that. Like
that's a whole nother, that's a whole thing. Like that took me off guard there. I wasn't quite prepared for that answer, or I didn't even think of this before. That's kind of some of the fun stuff about it, though. And getting
the surprise.
The surprise, yeah.
The surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, we only ever have people on that you already know everything that they know, and then you're never surprised. You all agree that it's just like
then it becomes stale.
Yeah. Stagnant.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
I'm trying to think. I know I've got a few other things.
Well, that's okay. You can, if you can't remember right now, you can bring them next week when I bring my guitar.
Yes. Yeah. We're gonna see Sensei Salsi.
Hopefully, that's some strings on that are all left.
Oh.
Yeah, that would be important. Awesome.
What else? Does anyone else have any suggestions on what to do on the podcast differently, or what you'd like to see, like what change things up, or make things better that we already have?
Yeah, that's good. It looks like you got another comment.
Yep.
Is that right, Tom?
Yeah. First sergeant, all good?
First sergeant.
No, it's all good. You're forgiven for making that wrong, is what he said.
So that was the correction.
Yeah.
Dale retired as a first sergeant.
Yeah. One of the things I just thought of is that this whole process, this whole thing, this whole rigmarole that we've been doing for the last few years has made me think about things in different ways. Martial arts, life, relationships. I think they're all intertwined there somehow, some way. But it's made me approach things a lot differently. Like I'm a better listener now.
Oh yeah.
And I'm a better conversationalist. I personally think this. But I think that it has allowed me to actually listen to what you're saying and not just throw out a canned response, but give it thought and give it the time it takes to think about it. You know what I mean? Because before I was trying to just get through that conversation on to the next thing. And now I'm like, okay, well, what is he saying? Or what's my wife saying?
Yeah.
Or what's my kids saying? And like putting more weight into that, you know, or more effort into that, which I think has been, for my personal life, been really good.
It's enriched it.
Yes. Yeah, it definitely hasn't taken anything away, for sure.
Do you think that there's more that you can go deeper on that? Like become a better, even better
There's
listener?
always room for improvement. Yeah. I don't think I'll be the guy on the mountain with the long beard, you know. I don't think I'll ever be there yet. But it's a lofty goal to have.
Yeah. Wow. That's good. Yeah. I definitely think I agree with me is that I think in the last 100 episodes I've learned to really in the same way in martial arts you become more in your movements, there's the words I'm looking for, you're more efficient in what you and how you move and how you expend your energy. I think that's in the same way with my speech. I've tried to be more efficient, not so much the uhs and the well, you know, and I still do it, right?
You did. Like for me, I hear every single one of them when I'm listening to me speak.
You hear everyone.
I'm like, oh.
You used to do the whole like
The first 10 episodes,
yeah.
I cringed so hard. There was one that I was like super excited to have. This guest was super excited to have, and I just the whole time, the entire like hour and a half. Yeah. Just shut up. Like screaming to myself at the end. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Lesson learned.
Yeah.
And on that note, no. You got anything else to add? I think this is a pretty sweet spot right now. I think so. Friends, thank you for being here for so long, listening to us and being with us for 100 episodes. And listen to the door squeak one more time. Thank you, son. He's 10. It's okay.
Super Tom.
Thank you. Thank you, friends, for being here. Thank you for listening to us, Babylon. If you have comments, questions, concerns, please check us out at our website, formlesspod.com. We have our Facebook page, Instagram, and Twitter, or X. All found at Formless Pod. Our website has merch where you can buy hats, shirts, tapestries, book bags, grocery bags, buttons, stickers, pins, and whatever else you can think of. I think that's it. Let's do it.